Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 3. Wanting change. What is the key to serenity? It is so simple that it may confound you. Let go of the feeling of wanting to change. It being anything in your life or within the scope of your personal experience you do not like and want to be different than the way it is, including events of the past. If you remain open to the elegance and simplicity of this solution, it has the power to set you free. Lester Levinson. When Lester Levinson examined his life in his inner laboratory, and he had already let go of many of his pains, he got stuck at one point, especially with his love for Nettie, who had chosen someone else. All of his previous release techniques did not help there. In part 7 of the story that I found on the internet, he describes in great detail how he came back on the right path by accident. Here it is. On that day, however, there was still a sense of despair in Lester that he couldn't get rid of, no matter how hard he tried to correct it in love. He wanted to flee, get out of the chair and run and get something to eat, do everything that would relieve him of his intense feeling. Instead, he decided to sit there until he was done. Something told him that if he let himself be pushed around by the feeling and lost this battle, he would lose the war. Lester stayed in his chair, determined to sit out and finish. He felt the old pain of his stomach ulcers return. It was now clear to him that these ulcers had started with Nettie on the last day. He had drunk this one beer and vomited. That was where it started. Lester wished it was different. He wanted to change what had happened more than anything else in the world. He wanted to go back and live it the other way, with Nettie choosing him, marrying him, and they were happy forever. "You can't change it, fool!" he shouted at himself. "So you might as well stop trying." That shook him. He saw that he was still trying to change something that had been over for more than 20 years. "No, it can't be over," he cried. "I won't let it be over." His throat was aching now, and he felt like screaming and smashing things. The source of his agony was that he had wanted to change the course of the things all these years, so he kept the experience alive in himself, buried the pain deeply, sabotaging his happiness. "Okay, the hell with it," Lester said flippantly. Suddenly, with that decision, the whole thing was gone. He could not believe it. He looked again for pain, the agony, the despair, but everything was gone. He remembered Nettie, so young, so beautiful, and he just loved her. There was nothing left of the old painful feeling. He was now starting to look in this new direction. Lester realized that the cause of his ulcers was that he wanted to change everything, from his loved ones to the rest of the world, the United States, other countries, leaders, the weather, the outcome of films, business practices, taxes, the army, the president. There was nothing Lester could think of that he didn't want to change one way or the other. What a revelation! Everything he wanted to change subjugated him and made him a victim. Lester started to dissolve these things too. When he thought of something that hurt him about a person or situation, he either corrected it with love or he resolved the desire to change it. He resolved the desire to change it. That is today's topic, the wanting to change whatever. And here I stop the story and we come to our today's technology, triple welcoming. Hale Dwoskin's triple greeting or welcoming from the Sedona method looks like this. We welcome 3 things. The first thing we welcome, the problem that is causing you discomfort, pain, or suffering. Explanation. Most of the time we do the opposite. When we greet or welcome it, we leave it as it is. And that doesn't mean we have to put it up with it. We simply stop defending ourselves against what increases our discomfort. Number 2. Welcome that you are resisting the problem by trying to fix it or want to do something about it or something with it, or it's not true, or whatever the resistance looks like. Explanation. We welcome what we are doing anyway. We stop fighting against it. Fighting against it just keeps the problem or question going. Step 3. Welcome that you identify with the problem or matter as if it were your own, or as personally involved or concerned. Explanation. We often take things personally, so why not just that? Let us allow ourselves to walk with the power of what we take personally. This way, we don't try to push it away or tell ourselves that we shouldn't take it personally. We go straight into it and through any resistance. Hey, that's how I feel. I hug it. When we greet or welcome things that we normally oppose or resist, the problem begins to resolve or unravel. And if we continue to welcome everything, at some point things will dissolve into nothingness from where they came from. I have an example. My freedom of movement is currently restricted due to the supposed risk of infection. And I take this as an example to go through the procedure 3 times. Step 1. I am welcoming the discomfort I feel when I realize that people are afraid. I welcome the feeling that I can do less and that my freedom of movement is restricted. Step 2. I greet my wanting that people are not afraid, my wanting that we can move freely, my anger about the restriction, my resentment with the situation, my frustration with the general impotence. I am welcoming not wanting the current situation. That has changed. I'm content with it now. Step 3. I am welcoming the feeling that I am personally affected. I am welcoming the feeling that I identify with the current situation. I am welcoming the feeling that it is personal. Let's do it again. And if it is similar with you, you can go along or you replace my sentences with your own topic. Step 1. I am welcoming the discomfort I feel when I realize that people are afraid. I am welcoming the feeling that I can do less and that my freedom of movement is restricted. Step 2. I grab my wanting that people are not afraid, my wanting we can move freely, my anger about the restriction, my resentment with the situation, my frustration with the general impotence. I am welcoming, not wanting, the current situation. Step 3. I am welcoming the feeling that I am personally affected. I am welcoming the feeling that I identify with the current situation. I am welcoming the feeling that it is personal. And for a third time, Step 1. I am welcoming the discomfort I feel when I realize that people are afraid. I welcome the feeling that I can do less and that my freedom of movement is restricted. Step 2. I welcome my wanting that people are not afraid. My wanting we can move freely. My anger, I am welcoming my anger about the restriction. I am welcoming my resentment with the situation. I am welcoming my frustration with the general impotence. I am welcoming my wanting, my not wanting, the current situation. Step 3. I am welcoming the feeling that I am personally affected. I am welcoming the feeling that I identify with the current situation. I am welcoming the feeling that it is personal. Yeah, you can do it as often as you feel the discomfort. For me, the situation is fine. I could let it go. I enjoy this time. And I want to mention, for me, the last step. I don't quite understand it, but I do it anyway. And that is the step I feel the most relaxation and the most calmness. So, and now for you, realize what you want to change, what you want to be different. Try this technique and tell us if you could relax, if it helped you. Here are the steps again. Welcome the problem that is causing your discomfort, your pain, your suffering. Welcome that you are resisting the problem by trying to fix it or do something about it, or do something with it, or not wanting it, and so. Number 3, welcome that you identify with a problem or matter as if it were your own, or as personally involved or concerned. Repeat this procedure until the tension is gone and you are comfortable. Again, put your hand on your heart. Please let me know if these techniques help you or if there is anything I should explain again, because there's no reaction in the group, and I'm irritated a little bit. Thank you very much for your participation, and I wish you a very happy day. Yours, Ingrid.